You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
To the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 237 of East Central and his favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell here, joined by co-host. Oh, what the hell's his name?
J Money.
I guess we're going to say he's Jesse Riddle today.
That is Jesse Riddle.
He's gone through a minor surgery, but he looks okay.
I survived.
Executive producer, video producer, audio engineer Zach Burcham is making everybody sound okay. And, of course, we have our forever co-host, Dakota Davis, in the building. How we doing, buddy?
Today's episode is going to feature the four of us, and we're going to be talking to you guys about all kinds of things. Jeremiah wrote the show notes, so there's just a wide variety of topics.
I love how I literally waited until the last possible second to write the show notes, and then it's been nothing but hostility, Zach, from these two for the last half an hour over the show notes that I produced.
Goes. There's usually like 8 topics put in.
Dakota says nothing
show notes.
About show notes all week.
So you didn't think there was enough?
There's like 8 topics usually put into the group chat, and then I will pick like 2 or 3.
Oh, so there are too many.
Yeah, and then Jeremiah put 6 topics into the group chat this week, and was like, "I guess we're talking about all 6 of these things."
It's not, but they're not because
some of them are
everything. There are 3 of them that are all the same topic. It's literally the first 3 items are all dealing with General Assembly, and then there's a throwaway thing about Muncie getting an axe throwing because I know Jesse's going to love it, and I have to help him out. I
seriously don't care that much.
It's a story for Jesse, and he's going to like it. Damn it! And then there's a story for me because I like old people dying. That's become my shtick lately. And then we do final thoughts. We literally have like 2 things to talk about. We could be out of here in 5 minutes.
But
we're no. Stay tuned for the whole 3-hour episode, guys. It's going to be great.
I think
like 3 episodes ago, Jesse said how much he hated to go to Muncie, and Jeremiah's like, Jesse's gonna love
Muncie axe throwing.
Listen, I think this show, as it's gone along in 237 episodes, has picked up some identity, and one of them is that we like to pick on Muncie. We don't mean to, but Muncie is the punching bag.
I think we mean to.
And then listen, nowhere else in the state of Indiana can you find a luxury apartment made out of a prison, but Muncie.
It's true. That might be where Jerry moves his condo. Or his timeshare.
His timeshare.
Yeah.
Old Jerry Gergich. Muncie. Larry. Nobody knows.
Well, this will take 3 hours if we don't get going.
So this show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. Like today in Patreon, Dakota, I learned how to spell GOSA.
You did. G-O-S-E.
It was completely unnecessary and nobody needed to know. But I learned.
We got a beer.
Am I not in the frame?
Why not? You're leaning back pretty far.
Maybe Zach has decided that he's going to join us. Nobody knows.
I'm out of frame.
Nobody knows what's happening.
I'm out of frame.
All we could see was Jesse's legs and the can in his hand, and that was it.
That's all you need to see.
I mean, listen, it's very premium content to be showing off Jesse's legs.
I know.
Max, relax.
They're supposed to be on the Patreon.
Oh, jeez. Patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. That's where you can go to support the show every month. We just did a bonus episode for the people who sign up at patreon.com/Boss Hog of Liberty. Jesse finally got us Christmas gifts. They're good gifts.
Well, I've had them for weeks. But,
I'll hold up the back of the box and you can try to figure out what it says from all the way over there. But if you want to actually see what it is, you have to sign up to pay monthly.
I can't believe he gave us Apple products.
I can't believe it either. If you sign up at $50 or more a month, then you get a shout out at the front of every episode, and those folks are Miss Christy Avery, Mr. Anthony Meyer, who is keeping the country running. He's trucking down the highway as we speak, and then Mr. Jonathan Phillips, our favorite car dealer in the continental United States.
Andy Moore Buick GMC.
It's interesting that you rotated those.
Yeah, I knew that like for at least the past like 5 weeks, we've just been copying the front.
It looks
part.
very similar to that, yeah.
So they've always been the same. So I was like, I need to switch it up.
Good. I appreciate it.
I mean, next week when you do episode 238 show notes,
I don't want people thinking that we're playing favorites.
you can do whatever you want.
You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, if people don't understand our relationship with Christy Avery by now,
I kept her in the front. I kept Kirsty in the front
Christy's OG.
because she is the first.
She's been around longer than we have. I think she started Boss Hog and let us know what our job was going to be.
That's very true. I don't even know. It's been too long. Maybe that's how long Christy's been doing things around here. We just don't even remember anymore. Praise God for Christy. We also Let's just jump right into this right now.
You got some merch to sell.
We have the merch. There's a link.
How intoxicated is Dakota?
I don't know. That's why I'm like, he had like a little bit of beer and he's like,
he's skipping.
We got
He's
merch.
like, you can literally see Dakota's brain is like just like missing
jumping.
a beat.
He's got COVID brain.
There's a problem.
I have the COVID.
I think
brain.
it's because he's been doing the work of two men for 3 weeks at work.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
He looks very tired.
I'm pretty tired.
You should have eaten those meatballs I had.
Could you lift all them weights this morning?
I've had.
Were you able to do leg day this morning?
I've taken a week off to go pretty light because my forearm splints have been hurting really bad.
Are those here?
No, that's the top. Your splints. Like, have you ever had shin splints?
Yeah, it's right on the front of your shins.
It's where the bone is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the tendons that.
I mean, I didn't want to get
stretch
all
over.
up
that
in
is?
you when
Like,
I
those
started.
those are. So does that, when you do that, does it mean you can like hardly lift stuff?
Well, it's a weird thing because like I'll do the curl, and because the curl is mainly a bicep action, I can do it. But
All right, we're gonna start the clock.
The
It'll go for
tendons
10 minutes.
control the grip strength.
Yeah.
So my fingers it takes like 30 seconds for my fingers to just come uncurl.
Yeah, because they kind of like freeze. I might do that
Yeah.
when I used to work out.
Yep. That's
That's
just because it means that the weight that your bicep can take
I think it's rigor mortis.
is
and he
much
died.
more. Is it basically your tendons haven't caught up with the actual muscle?
Right, so you need to be doing like other type of workouts.
That's what
Need to
happened
be
to me when
working
I
on
helped
grip
move
strength
Aaron
and
Dickens'
stuff,
piano.
And instead of like doing grip strength like this, you need to work the extensor muscles.
Sure.
So basically going like this. Like, have you seen those finger bands?
Yep.
Where you do this?
know all about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It works the extensor muscles, and those are the ones.
Do you think
that
that's why
run on the
teenage
backside of
boys
your
have no
forearm.
trouble with those sorts of things?
No, because they're using grip strength. They're using the I can't forget what
they're
those
feeding
muscles
the geese.
are. Feeding the geese. Sure. Yeah.
Thought it was more of a chicken choking, but I don't know.
It's a lot of animals involved.
There's a lot of fowl.
It's true. Cool. So
So Jesse,
The General Assembly's back in session.
so Jesse, the General Assembly introduced a bill banning masturbation.
yeah, you're no longer allowed to feed the geese. I wish they would have like a statewide ban on feeding the geese because the opposition would have the best content.
Yeah. That would be funny.
So, all right.
Jim Lucas doesn't want you to feed the geese.
He's been seen feeding the geese all over Indiana.
Here's the way this went down. Some weeks the
At
show
parks,
gets
playgrounds.
When's the last time you fed the geese?
Jim Lucas wants to stop it.
you need a hunting license to feed those geese.
Yeah.
You got to pay the fee.
I feel like someone's going to send this to Jim.
Hi, Jim.
He
Come
doesn't-
back on the
he-
show,
he
man.
doesn't support
It's
this
always
message.
fun. All right. So the General Assembly's back in session. As always, a million different things get filed. I think a senator can file 10 bills. A state representative can file 5. Sometimes they get assigned to committee. Sometimes action gets taken. But anytime there's something crazy or fun or asinine, it makes the news. And in the world of the internet, things blow up. So we've got a handful of topics that your co-hosts, my co-hosts, your guides to the Indiana General Assembly, Jesse, Dakota, and Zach have come up with, and these are the topics that they have selected. So if there's any bitching from Jesse over the things we're about to talk about, these are the topics that these gentlemen have selected
I would have
to talk about today.
I think we finally pushed Jeremiah over the edge.
He is so upset.
I just wanted to
He's
talk
just going to
about.
walk up the show. You're
I
gonna
just
hear
wanted-
You're going to hear the headphones.
I
hit the
just
table
wanted to
and-
talk about Michael Andretti starting another fake company to buy an F1 team, but you said no. We're going to talk about. Jesse says it's going to be
Absolutely
fun
don't
Yeah.
want
to
We
talk
said
about
no.
House Bill 1077 because it has passed the House.
We said no to Michael Andretti because, like, every 3 weeks I am unable to make it, and then you can get all that out of your system during those episodes.
The IPO was today. Anyway, Michael Andretti is raising $250 million to start an
And
F1
no one
team.
really cares.
And I think it's a scam. I think it's a scam
perhaps
and wanted
that.
to hear from you guys. But it's okay. We'll move on. So the Indiana General Assembly has passed a bill that says that I have wasted my money on my lifetime. It's passed the House, not the Senate,
Yeah,
not
it's
signed by the
not.
governor. It's gone one of the 3 steps to get through the process. But this says that they want you to just be able to concealed carry because the Constitution says.
No,
Doing
doing
this
constitutional
show-
carry.
Doing this show for as long as we have, I think that our listeners may remember that this bill gets passed out of the House
Every time.
like every time, and then it gets killed in the Senate committee every time.
So should we be excited?
No.
Okay.
Did
It
the
was
Senate not change?
It was co-authored by every damn person.
Mm-hmm.
Ledbetter, Davis, Cook, Leonard, Borders, Payne, Davison, Lauer, Texia, Lehman, Lucas, Snow. I mean, the list, that's only a quarter of the names. Authored by Ben
You know
Smalls.
why Lucas wants it, right?
It was sponsored by 4 different senators.
Feeding the geese.
Yeah, if he
Stop
catches you
people.
feeding those geeses.
The digest,
Doesn't even have to
the
have a
Reader's
license.
Digest version, the Cliff
geese.
Notes that they provide basically says that it repeals the law that requires the person to obtain a handgun carry in Indiana. Basically, everybody gets to have it. So you don't need to have the orange card anymore.
Yeah, well, mine's pink, but
Mine's
yeah.
pink.
Or whatever color it is. The orange card is for
Jeremiah's-
hunting. The
So
pink card.
If you're new,
no.
to,
The orange card is your hunter ID card or your hunter safety card.
Oh,
The pink card
you're,
is
like
your.
I'm hunting. Like you hold it while you're walking around the forest.
I don't know.
It's on the back.
Let me see. I
Here's
have
his
my.
I
I have my Libertarian Party card. I have my free admission to the Deja Vu in Nashville for when Dakota wants to go back. I have my Chick-fil-A card that I keep right next to it.
Chick-fil-A card. Too.
And then my bottle opener. I have a lot of vices in here. And then I have my permit to carry right there.
but it's
pink.
But it's you're new school. You have plastic.
I did when I moved. I got the pink one.
I have a pink one, and I have my Elks member card. That's it. That's all my special
That
cards.
is all you carry.
Those are all my special cards.
So
I have
yeah.
a thin wallet. I don't want back problems.
So anyway, constitutional carry.
You're going to have to pay full price at the strip club if you
Senate.
decide to go then because you don't have the discount card.
I don't plan on going to Nashville anytime soon.
I'm driving there straight up for Deja Vu.
Elks Club card. Hey, what are you doing Saturday?
Not going to the Elks.
I was going to ask if you want to go to Nashville, but too late.
I got something going on.
No, I made other plans. All right, so that's the first item that we talked about, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. As predicted, nobody cares. You guys poo-pooed it. It said that
I just don't think it's
going
to happen. I get my hopes up.
You're
every
so
year.
jaded. What? Do you,
That was why I said, has something changed in the Senate to make you think that it's not? Has nothing changed in the Senate? Therefore, you think nothing's going to happen?
This is,
one senator quit because everybody is passing around COVID, and he said, "The hell with this. I'm done.
Was he a Democrat?
Doesn't matter."
This is a government. Nothing ever changes.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
Dakota is so jaded. I love it.
Well, it's about time he joined the train.
I've got much more in common with Jesse now than I ever have.
Thank you. Welcome.
When you start
It's a
street
nice,
parking
warm, and
Lincolns.
dark place.
I think I freaked everybody out in the group chat today because I made a.
Which group chat? We're in 75.
I was not freaked out today at all.
No, it was a big one. The coal mine.
But when
chat.
Jesse's not in,
yeah, the one
Jesse
Jesse's
would leave
not in.
immediately.
I would not. I don't like group chats.
But I made it. I think that Andrew was talking about someone's work ethic, and I sent a message about people, society,
Yeah,
And,
terrible people. They're all lazy.
and then no one replied. Everyone read it, and then immediately Jeremiah changed the topic.
Sounds like me.
I've been there.
Frank Mervon, the Democrat state senator, his son is the new congressman from the 1st district. He quit, and it was over COVID-19.
So that he will get replaced with another Democrat?
Yeah, probably. Oh. He's got some health issues and whatever. Cool. So he didn't want to be around it. So he just said, the hell with this. I quit.
Makes sense.
All right, moving on. If you're a patron, you have the show notes with the links so that you can do the backstory, yada, yada, yada. But there's a big Senate bill moving on this has been the big one. The third rail of crazy town politics in Indiana. Senate Bill 167.
Mass formation psychosis. That was a critical race theory joke, in case you didn't get it.
I knew what he was saying.
This is what some people are calling the critical race theory ban, which we have not discussed. We've gone this long into our existence and not gotten into these waters. But Mr. Zach said he wanted to talk about cathode ray tubes. So here we are talking about critical race theory, divisive, dividing politics. What the hell are people bitching about? Because I've tried to ignore it because there's a pandemic that's trying to take down society. But we're arguing over critical race theory being taught at Tri High School.
It seems like the thing that has gone viral in the state of Indiana, the post that has gone viral in the state of Indiana, it looks like it comes from a website of bullet points. Like if you were to just look at the two pictures, you would think that this is language in the bill, but it's actually like screenshots from like an email of someone who's like talking crap about the bill. And it's what I've been able to gather is kind of blown out of proportion a little bit. Like, I don't think that necessarily this is a good bill, because I think that any other kind of work and undue stress that's placed on teachers from the state government is a bad thing, just by policy. I think that's just kind of how I think. I think that the state should like set the most minimal guidelines for school districts, and then basically everything else would be up to the school boards and the districts themselves. So that's how I envision my perfect public school system.
There are two. My perfect school system says that you have to go for 180 days, and the school boards decide the rest of it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what's happening here is there are two major controversy issues. One is that Republicans are allegedly trying to ban critical race theory, which is what says that basically white people are supposed to be on the same. This is the major controversy, whatever, is that basically you're not supposed to belittle one race over the other.
I don't think that is anywhere near what it is.
That's what people are claiming.
Republicans
or that they're wanting to make sure that you're not teaching history differently or one-sided or forgetting what they think is important.
Yeah.
Yada, yada.
Well, I think the problem is that the other people are trying to say it is already one-sided.
Yeah.
Right.
So what they're trying to do is they're trying to put certain things into
I mean, it kind of is. You learn in public school about Christopher Columbus, and like Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas. You don't.
I mean, it's important for you to understand why you have certain banking holidays.
You don't hear like Christopher Columbus came to America and he didn't come to America. Christopher Columbus sailed to the West Indies and then raped and pillaged all of the native people.
He discovered America.
But I think that there's been that shift towards that more truthful story being told, and people don't like it.
That's what people don't like.
Yeah, and then one of the texts that's in there, and I just thought this was because basically they have to post curriculums online, and parents would then have the ability to, like, I guess at some level, veto certain things. But it said instructs that schools can't teach that anything that any individual should feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, responsibility, or any form of psychological distress. So anything that they teach you that might make you feel bad, no, you can't teach that.
Right.
And I'm like, there's a lot of history that we need to learn about, and it should make you uncomfortable because it wasn't right to begin with. That'd be like somebody saying that in Germany they can't teach anything about Hitler and Nazis before that, because that might make them as Germans feel bad.
Well, I mean, but they do have their own problems like that. That's the problem, right? Is that they do alter their own histories to not talk about them.
You whitewash it of sorts.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I have Explain It Like I Five from Reddit for CRT if you would like me to read it.
Sure.
That's a good subreddit.
Critical race theory is the theory that most, if not all, aspects of modern society have racism baked in, which is why it's been so hard to get rid of racism. For example, we tend to assume that our laws are written to be race neutral, but critical race theorists point to the fact that people from different racial backgrounds can have wildly different outcomes while dealing with similar legal issues in the same legal system. The explanation, according to CRT, is that the laws and legal systems are actually designed, consciously or not, to perpetuate racism. It's important to note that CRT isn't really one theory, but really a collection of different ideas that challenge a wide swath of intellectual and political traditions. The common thread is that they all agree that race is one of the important factors in creating and maintaining inequalities in society. That's a very broad way of thinking.
In addition to that, the link that we have provided here, the copy says that this bill also requires that electronic copies of all material ultimately adopted by the school board or used at a school, including lesson plans, must be posted online, ongoing parent and public review, and available for inspection at the school if the material is available in printed form only. So actual teachers have started weighing in, saying there's no way in hell that you're going to get me to post this because I don't know what we're doing. So you're going to get very generic lesson plans that don't actually mean anything. So you're going to get red tape and people are just going to do whatever to pat, but it's not like you're going to say, okay, here's what Tuesday is going to be. And this is your lesson. You're not going to actually post the lesson plans.
Right. Like in high school, like chemistry or biology classes, or especially chemistry classes, if you go through one thing and, my chemistry teacher gets online, he says, we are going over, moles today. And is that the right word?
Molds?
Like
fungus?
Like
MOL.
In chemistry, yeah, like a mole of something.
Oh,
yeah.
A mole. Got you.
And he's like, and then the next day we're going to be doing we're going to be making elephant toothpaste or something. And then the day that we talk about a molar unit and none of the class gets it, then all of a sudden what he's put out on the internet does not match up with the actual lesson plan, because the day that we were supposed to be making elephant toothpaste, he's got to be going back over everything else again.
I mean, nothing else you could imagine over the last 2.5 years, a teacher trying to maintain their classrooms with all the stuff that's been going on, and they're simultaneously supposed to be prepping their lesson plans and getting them thrown on the internet so that teachers or parents can review them when they're just trying to survive.
Yeah,
to get their classes done.
To me, this feels like this is not the year. Read the room. Yeah.
The other thing about this bill is
the world is on fire.
Yeah,
and you're trying to just drop a nuke in it.
Specifically, that section. If you're a parent and it's literally already a law, you can go to the school office and ask for your child's curriculum that year, and they have to give it to you already. You have to, if you are their parent, you have to get a copy of what the general curriculum is for that year that your child is going to be learning.
It's telling you what textbooks they're working out of, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
What the master lesson plan is.
That already exists. Right. Why are we giving more work to
We're
teachers
going to electronically expect every teacher to do it.
That already exists. So dumb.
I mean, it's technically doesn't have to be more work if they just change their workflow, but I don't know. If you don't like schools, don't put your kids in them, man. Simple fucking problem.
That is because
5 minutes. He missed it by 5 minutes, people. I think that was pretty good. We're going to give him. We're going to give Jesse a pass. He was close.
But I mean, if for people that have kids in schools, if you know the current level of parent involvement, it's embarrassing.
That's
so parents don't need to be given any more power because they're not using the power that they have. Parents could be very involved, and I think they could voice concerns with a teacher, and I think most teachers would be receptive to that if it was based in some sound thought process. But one thing my wife is her PTO for her school. There's nobody else in the PTO.
What is PTO?
Parent teacher organization.
And that was the other thing in the bill, is that they were trying to establish a committee of 60% parents and 40% school staff to review curriculum. And
Those
I'm like,
people would never
literally the PTO freaking exists. There's supposed to be a thing where parents and teachers work together on stuff. And it doesn't work because no one's involved.
So Stephen Vitito, a Boss Hog alum, says 100% of the kids and parents don't look at the syllabus now. If they did, this bill wouldn't be a thing because no one's teaching critical race theory. Michael White, also a teacher, says, yeah, you're going to get copy and paste lesson plans. Print the standards. That's what I teach to. Stephen says, I don't understand the state telling us what to teach. I have an approved book list to pick from. Parents are yelling for parents' rights and getting a bill that just demands more work and an opportunity to avoid challenging subject matter.
It's so dumb.
Stephen says, I will never create another lesson. Everything will be purchased. The cost of education is going to triple. I'm unwilling to give everybody a copy of my material. Views it as proprietary.
There's the thought that I have is, say you like public school in general. Like you're like, I want my kids to have a public school experience. I want them to go to public school. The mass majority of things, like I say, like me personally, I can't teach algebra or chemistry or things like that. I want my kid to go to public school. And then there's a certain subject that I might have a disagreement with. And if that comes up, then you look at that particular thing because you are involved with your kid and you're like, I see that this is what they're saying in school, but this is actually how I see it, you know? And you just have a conversation with your kid about what they're learning in school, especially if you're talking about something like critical race theory. When do you think they're going to be teaching that? Third grade? No.
I mean,
it's going to be like a high school social studies.
I think that there's and this is me just not trying to bash at the idea of it, but if there are definitely things in our history books that need adjusted, and to say that there isn't, and just to say like I just teach the curriculum is bullshit. I understand that's what you do, but to also not stand up and say, hey, our history books are very whitewashed, because they fucking are. Like it.
There's like barely any money to go towards textbooks, so they're probably working out of stuff from like 1993.
Well, you don't need the books anyway, but the whole point though is that our history, like we write, like the people in control write the history, right? And that is the problem. I don't care if it's CRT or if it's whatever. I don't care what the acronym is. We need to understand, and we should not deny that those in power write history. It's been history. That is why our books are so terrible, and why our history is so terrible. It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But
so here's a fun one. So they're desperate for teachers, and I think this is just going to continue to drive people out. Today, one of our local school districts, South Henry School Corporation, which is Tri-High, had a posting that said that they are in a desperate need for substitute teachers, like tomorrow.
Yeah, which you barely needed anything to show that you can substitute.
They'll pay you $65 a day to substitute,
which is a terrible wage, so please don't apply.
So $65 a day is $325 a week. You can't do it every day of the year. You could do it 180, right? So 65 times 180. If you substituted every day for school corporation,
you did that wrong.
Yeah, you think? $3.2 million. I changed my mind.
Yeah, Jeremiah was homeschooled, by the way.
I came up with like $18,000 the first, or $14,000 the first time I did the math, but then I realized that it's not that many days in the week. $11,700. If you substitute for a school corporation every day, all year long, you're going to pocket $11,700.
That's before taxes.
Before taxes.
Yeah, before taxes.
I mean, but that's below the poverty line, so your taxes will go away anyway, Dakota.
Yeah. That's true.
It's insane. Like you're not going to get anybody to do that. And a part of that issue is that you've got a pandemic running through, and they're desperate for people. But there's
the whole education system.
If you want to spend your time figuring out what to do, figure out a way to pay teachers more, pay subs more, so that people actually will do the job. Don't from the state level shove more crap on their backs, because it's not going to work.
Or just think about. I mean, like there is things that I heard about during COVID and stuff, when the schools were kind of doing e-learning or whatever, where people were paying, like kind of like your neighborhood, let's say, like it was an older housing edition, right, from like the 80s or 60s or 70s or something, But the people who had kids there were all throwing their monies into a pool to pay for a private tutor for every kid. And they would do it like old schoolhouse style. And then so they would have a handful of kids, maybe between 5 and 10 kids of different age groups. And the teacher would just like teach them their lesson, and then they would sit and do their homework, and then she would move on.
And the challenge that people are going to say, and I'll speak for those in their car that are yelling at the radios right now.
Yeah, turn it off.
No, please listen to our show.
I mean, that's all cool and everything for people who live in housing additions that have kids that are roughly the same age.
I understand.
That's good for the middle income and the upper income.
0.5% of the population.
But
I understand.
But the poor neighborhoods, it's never going to happen, and they're just going to fall further behind. That's the argument you're going to get. Yeah.
Yep.
But in like 7 neighborhoods in town, it's going to work out fine.
Yep. I don't know what to tell you.
Argument.
There is no perfect solution to any of this, but I'm pretty confident that what they're trying to do here is not
solution, helpful. But there has to be responsibility at one point. And I'm not, obviously there are people who are terrible, but
2 years ago it was Red for Ed, and I think they were just before COVID happened, they were on the 1 foot line of getting raises for teachers and getting them the hell out of the way, getting government the hell out of the way for a little while.
Yeah,
and instead,
but that's not what people want. People don't want that. Liberals don't want that. They don't want the government out of the way. They want more government in the way.
Yeah, I think that the Republicans that are calling the shots down there,
right?
I think they were going to pull back some of the requirements instead of forcing some more back in. And they were going to get there was going to be a pay increase.
The Republicans
that was going to be the big trade. But now here we are with COVID, and it's not at all.
The Republicans go, "This is what you're going to teach. You don't get a pay raise." The Democrats go, "This is what you're going to teach,
and we'll give you more
get
money.
A little bit of a pay raise." But either way, on both sides, they both get told from the state that what they have to teach.
We're still doing ISTEP, right?
Yeah,
we're doing test-based education.
Correct.
I haven't been in a public school since 1995. Indiana. What the hell do I know, Jesse?
Indiana.
We're a collective.
And I don't know. Like, so I was with someone yesterday, and he was talking to me about his friends in high school. And he's like, he said that he went to the same high school as he's like, I went to a high school that was like right down the street from another high school where some famous person went. I was like, and then he goes, and then this other famous person went to a high school a little bit further down the street. I go, how many damn high schools does your city have? And this is like Flagstaff, Arizona or something. And he's like, oh, like he's in Arizona. All the schools are like, there's like a lot more schools and they're smaller than Indianapolis.
I've been saying that for a long time. We need to reopen like the Spiceland and Louisville. All those little schools, get classroom sizes smaller.
Yeah, but that requires more money. That's why they've consolidated. That's why you consolidate to save money.
But some of them in Indiana.
Yeah, but how much money could we free up from administrative costs by getting rid of state education?
You have more administration.
I'm talking about at the state level.
Yeah.
How much more could be brought?
Yeah, but if you did that, if you go and figure out however big their hierarchy is, you can go up and look up their salaries, and then you can split that amongst all the teachers. They're going to get like $5 more a year. Like their budgets aren't that massive.
Here's a fun one.
The budget is massive. It's well over 50% of the entire state's budget.
I'll let you kids do your homework and come back, and we'll continue to debate at a future time.
56% of the state
budget. You want
budget.
to can go?
It's an insane amount of money that we.
The people who turned off the radio didn't hear that. It's unfortunate.
J.D. Prescott, representative from Union City, Indiana, just northeast of here, has introduced a bill that would put political affiliation of school board races on the ballot. Dakota,
I want to hear before anyone says anything. We're going to go around the room and say yes or no or maybe, and that's it. Just a one-word answer.
Zach is cheesing.
No.
He's pointing at Jesse.
Jesse,
close the schools.
I said one-word answer.
Close.
You don't have an opinion?
He says close the schools. Burn them to the ground. Jesse wants them closed.
Jeremiah?
No.
I say maybe.
You're an idiot.
Jeremiah pulled out the quote that, and this is what I was telling people, like, because this one like hit a nerve, because we're in this society where everything's being turned into tribes, we're gonna label everybody, and that's exactly what this is about.
He literally wants to be able to say, hey, look, you like Republicans, so this person says they're Republican, so you need to vote for them. And we're going to elect them all because we're a straight ticket state, so you're not going to have to worry about a damn thing for your school board race.
Yeah, I mean, but the quote that Jeremiah pulled out,
likes interrupting.
Out of the article, and when I look at Republicans or Democrats, I think you can tell the difference between financial responsibility and moral character in some cases, just based on their political affiliation. I'm not sure, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that both sides have horribly morally corrupt people and people who have no idea how to handle tax dollars.
That was a huge red flag, Mr. J.D. Prescott. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look up J.D. Prescott now. I want to see what this guy looks like.
I mean, I was thought this is what this is about. It's about straight ticket, and it's about labeling people, because now we want to just label everybody.
This guy, where's Union City?
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Northeast of here. It's on the state line.
This dude's fat.
He's a real estate agent.
And what's his name?
J.D. Prescott. John Prescott.
So he's probably he's a late millennial, but he's probably not. He's probably, what's the thing above me? What's above
Gen
us?
Xer?
He's a Gen Xer probably. And, yeah, but he probably looks like he eats a lot of cold cuts.
You know, they really don't list the
not
weights.
fat.
They don't really list the weights of the representatives.
He's not fat. Not fat.
Well, he's not built.
He's not. That's not a fat guy.
He's not you.
I don't look at him and I'm like,
well,
that's a fat guy.
He's hiding his chubs behind his kid. His little meat shield he's got right there. Yeah, I don't think you should do that. I mean, if you're going to have school boards, you probably don't want to do that.
Here's one without a child. He's not fat. He's definitely look, Jeremiah. He's not a fat guy.
It's funnier to think he's fat.
Well, I mean, I don't. I think that if he looks at the BMI, they're probably going to be like, JD, look, man,
you need to.
You're not.
You're sitting right now with a morbidly obese person. So
yeah, JD, we want you to live. I know that you want to, label everybody.
Barack Obama. Like, Barack's probably the fittest politician that we've had on a national stage.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
JD Prescott. Oh my God! Roosevelt. If this is accurate, he graduated from Winchester Community High School in 2010.
What?
Wow, he's a millennial.
His wife looked pretty young.
He looked like a millennial. He looked like he was a little younger than me.
He's got a new baby. So
anyway,
I was going to say Paul Ryan was ripped.
You need a soundboard. Can we get a soundboard in 2022?
You want to see a better picture?
He's
not a fat guy.
When I heard that, in an article,
why are you saying he's not a fat guy?
This is the one thing we're hung up on.
Let's call him. Look him up.
JD, I don't care about any of this. I just want you to call in and let us know if you feel like you're obese.
How are your man tits doing today?
I don't want JD to listen to this and be like, "Oh man, I'm fat," because I don't think he's fat.
Oh, I do want
Jesse
to
thought we were getting him
on
on the phone and I'm double puffed. He's looking barely talking.
Yeah, I thought you were talking like morbidly obese. Like this was a.
I was talking like
he thought he was going to get.
I thought he wore suspenders
of a Hoosier-born fat bastard from the Austin Powers movies. That's what we were going to get.
Yeah,
I thought he was a millennial that had to wear suspenders out of sheer necessity.
Exactly. But not but not because like he's a hipster. Like he literally
his only hope
because he's walking around like he has a beach ball stuck in his pants.
And I was just waiting. This seems like the kind of guy who would then pass legislation that in a couple of years, if this were to pass, they're like, okay, now we need teachers to declare their political affiliation so that parents can decide whether or not those people should be educating their kids.
Did this
JD Prescott was born in 1991. He's a millennial.
Yeah. He's the same age as our friend Andrew Bowman.
So, whatever they need to do to start ripping their kids out of school is what I'm saying. So I'm saying yes.
Wait, hold on.
I'm just like push the idiocracy throttle. Just keep going. Just hit it. Pedal to the metal until people go, you know what? We've had enough. We're done with this. I go, it's about damn time.
I feel like this isn't the first time we've talked about JD Prescott on the show.
I'm starting to think Bob Vollmer had it right.
I think that
Bob Vollmer and Betty White.
You can't just get out of the game.
I'm out.
I'm out, Jerry.
It was 2 years. I made it out of here.
I feel like at some point we have talked about JD Prescott on the show before.
You have to throw all of your shows into a.
I think that he's written
text.
a piece of legislation that we made fun of previously.
Wouldn't that be
he
a
would be able?
shocking
He would be able
development?
to look through that where you were at to see like what he submitted.
That's true.
Listen, man, you work for me. I don't work for you.
That's bullshit. I don't agree with this. I thought you were trying to axe the axe throwing by skipping over the old Volmer.
No, I'm just
I think
just
I may have just found it. He wrote a letter with Jim Lucas to the governor about the state of emergency back in 2020. And I think that that's when we talked about him.
He also got sued last year by the ACLU for blocking Facebook users that had unfavorable or critical thoughts on his positions.
Dang, that sounds like something else we've talked about. Maybe
really
we've talked about this dude multiple times.
So he blocked them on Facebook, and the ACLU is mad.
Yeah, because it was
you're not
determined. It
allowed
was
to-
determined like kind of early on in the Trump administration that you're not allowed to
block your constituents.
because you're infringing on their freedom of speech.
On a
This is why
official
I can't run
Facebook
for
page.
office.
You can on your personal page.
Not on your
Not on
your
your
I was gonna
campaign.
say
or your
I
official
block
pages.
almost everyone affiliated with.
If
the
it
police
said
department.
Jesse Riddle, Henry County Council, then you wouldn't be able to. But if it just said Jesse Riddle,
Yeah.
you're fine.
So, well, that's a interesting problem for one of our county.
What if you
people
never
that has me
create one?
blocked.
It's like I don't understand this. Just don't create one.
I've definitely been treated on social media in violation of that particular thought by a former guest and local county council member.
Me too.
I think you're on.
The entire.
I
county
recently
blocked
was
me.
unblocked.
The entire county blocked me.
So Muncie's getting axe throwing. I know Jesse's excited about
I wish
this.
they got ox throwing.
Ox throwing.
That would be a lot cooler.
Muncie's getting 2 axe throwing places. There's
2 of them.
There's going to be there's 2.
Axe
There's
to
one in the
axe.
old bail bonds place, and there's going to be one at Majax where they have the wrestling.
Do we just not have
and the
bad
Guardian.
people in Muncie anymore? Like, look, we got rid of the jail. We're building a hotel or apartments. We don't need bail bonds.
Listen, it's some 3D chess. The reason the bail bonds place moved is the same reason that the jail moved. It's not downtown anymore. The jail moved to the
always
old middle
downtown.
school. See, what's happened is the city shrank. It's all downtown. The answer's right there, George. It's all in the song. They took the old Wilson Middle School up in Muncie, and they made that the jail. The old Southside High School they made into the middle school. So they used to have 3 high schools. Now they've just got the one, which freed up the old jail to make the high-end luxury apartments.
Sure.
And now the bail bonds place isn't right there. So that's going to be axe throwing.
And it sounded like the Mad Jacks one. That's going to be like a 21 plus venue.
There's a brewery in there, yeah.
And the other one, the one going in the bail bonds place, that is going to be family friendly.
The one that we went to.
I didn't go. I was not
that's
invited.
right.
You went with my family, but I was not invited.
That's right.
I don't know what happened.
They serve beer.
I think you were dating my cousin at the time or something. I don't know what
The
happened.
family
actually
friendly
brought a
one
different
said
person with me.
they're going to serve beer. They're going to serve craft beer. They actually
That's what I'm
applied
saying. The
for
one
it.
I went to served craft beer, but I felt like it wasn't 21 plus, but I could be wrong.
So this one's going to be at 124 North Walnut Street in Muncie, Indiana, and it's the future home of the Alchemy Axe Throwing and Ale House. And it's going to have a Viking/middle-aged vibe.
I can't wait. People need to. I've thought about like it would be really cool.
I feel like you should be their mascot.
I know, but listen, I think it would be really cool for someone to take the like hook in, so like your police radios, so that they go through like text to chat, or like voice to chat, or voice to text,
Voice to text, yes. Okay.
audio to text, whatever.
Speech
And
to
then
text, yes.
and then you could have your filters, and then like key on keywords locations like alchemy, axe throwing, and brew house. So that, and then get alerts when like those come through the radio, and then they could like you could hear what's going on, because like there has to be eventually a bad event that happens there. You can't just mix like a bunch of alcohol and like sharp as shit axes without blood happening.
This is designed to be like bowling.
yeah, but
And they assure,
bowling
they
isn't
assure
nearly as
you-
dangerous as axes.
It's a
They
waiver.
assure you that it's all going to be safe and fine and fun. I thought you would love this, Jesse.
there's-
I never thought you'd be like, this is unsafe.
No,
There should never allow this.
First off, I'm not saying they shouldn't allow it. I want to read the content
be
it
the law.
creates. That is what I want. That's why I want to hook up the radio so I can be like, something's going down at Alchemy Axe Throwing.
They are asking for a 3-way liquor license, which, as everybody knows, is the beer, wine, and spirits.
I don't know why they need ghosts.
Because it's middle-aged vibe.
Yeah. Only Viking ghosts, though. It's fine. So my reason that I was like boo-hooing the story is I feel like, A, they missed the boat. I feel like no one's gone axe throwing in decades. And 2,
the story says the sport went
place
mainstream in Toronto in 2011. Indianapolis just got it in 2017.
yeah, fuck, how long ago was that? 6 years?
5.
Yeah. They missed the boat.
Nobody goes there anymore. It's too busy.
Yeah, the Vikings missed the boat there. Like, you're like, look, you missed the boat.
They
Leif
ought
Erikson,
to be in the NFT axe blowing, leaf blowing business.
Yes,
with
should be
with ghosts.
I wonder if there will be axe throwing in the metaverse.
Probably not. Again, they missed their boat. Like, no one. It's not that fun.
Indiana's oldest employee died.
I've never done it.
I'm not done yet with this. How much time do we got?
I don't know, an
We
hour.
got plenty of time.
So my point is, it's not. So I just did fouling this past weekend. Have you guys done fouling yet?
It's bowling and football.
Yeah.
You did not invite me.
I
said, hey, Jesse, do you want to do the show on a Thursday? And you said, no, I'm going to go with Mark, and we're going to go fouling without you.
Oh, I didn't go. No, I didn't go that night.
Explicitly on the night. And then you said, wait, okay, now we're really going to air the dirty laundry.
I know we are.
And then you said, if anything changes, I'll let you know and I'll come on the show. So now he admits that it changed and he didn't come on the show. But
things did change.
You didn't invite me.
I also just didn't do anything that day.
What a dick.
I didn't feel well.
So fouling is the fouling warehouse up on the Mass Ave northeast side of downtown Indianapolis.
Correct. Yeah.
And is your arm strong enough to throw a football?
Barely.
Did you reach the pins?
Yeah, several times. So they have like there's a handicap line for ladies, which some ladies need and some don't, and some men probably need them actually.
I was gonna say that sounded very offensive.
It just, hey, I didn't put the lines there. It's still in golf. I don't know.
It's just like golf.
That's what I said. It's still in golf. I don't know. So, but again, it's like it's fun, but I'm like, I only need to do it like 2 times, and I feel like I can just do it in my backyard. I don't need to pay money to go and do this.
Yeah, but there's a bar. I assume it has alcohol.
Again, I don't. So here's. I'm not a person who likes to do games and drink. I don't need to do that.
Were you even born in the Midwest?
I got really into trivia that one night, though.
Well, trivia is fun, but that's not like that.
Which is a game.
Yeah, but I would be fun in trivia without drinking. But what I'm saying is, I don't need a game involved while drinking. I don't need that.
I gotcha.
I'm not going to go axe throwing probably sober, ever, and nor would I probably go
make
fouling.
You feel?
I'm an alcoholic. No, but so what I'm saying though is, it's just a thing where you go and you're like, it's whatever, it's not bad time. It's an all right time.
Yeah, fouling sounds lame. I don't like that idea at all.
And
I think it sounds exactly like you described. I could set pins up and do that in my backyard. You can't bowl at home. Like it requires.
That requires a lot of infrastructure.
Right.
Yeah. Not so much for fouling.
So like bowling is fun. Literally just throwing a football and knocking stuff down. I've been doing that since I was 2.5.
I'll say bowling and what's the thing up in Fishers called? T something. The big hit the balls with the clubs.
T-ball?
What is it
What are
called?
you talking about?
I think he's talking about Top Golf.
Top golf. Thank you. So that's all right because that's more like bowling to me.
That was the worst description of golf I've ever heard.
Well, it's not real golf.
What is the T thing?
At the T thing, I was like,
T thing? You hit balls. I don't know.
Top golf is fun. Yeah, top golf's a lot
but
of fun.
it's more similar to golf, or sorry, to bowling.
Yeah, you can't do it at home.
Can't do it at home. It's a little bit more fun than, like, I would say, than fouling or throwing axes. Just a little bit
It's
more.
challenging. It's nice and competitive. You don't have to be necessarily good at something to be good at top golf.
Yeah.
My favorite bar game with Dakota is definitely bocce ball.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know
bocce ball's a
what
lot
that
of
is.
fun. I like shuffleboard.
Let's say shuffleboard's all right. But again, I just don't do those things when I'm drinking. I don't play pool when I drink. I don't like. There's a dartboard now at Blackacre. I've done it, but I'm like, people, you doing go play darts? I'm like, no. I'd rather sit here and talk.
I feel like darts is more dangerous almost than axe throwing because the dart lane is unregulated. Like you can't just walk in front of the axe.
Is there not an axe lane master? Is there not somebody in charge?
There's like a range,
I assume
there's
this
like a
is some
range
sort
master.
of a Viking with a
Yeah,
weapon.
in the article that you shared, she called him an expert.
Well, I did axe throwing last year at the place up off Allisonville.
That's the one I went to.
And it's like the lanes are separated and it's chain link between the lanes. And once in a while, like the axes, I don't recall any of them coming back.
Some of them will, though.
We did like a 2-hour thing. And then at hour 2, they bring out knives.
What?
And the knives will come back. And they did come back once or twice.
Knives will bounce back.
Yeah, they will bounce back. And then they brought out.
There were only 4 stabbings that night.
Yeah,
It was
and
fine.
it's us next to like a group of like a soccer team, like a high school soccer team. And at no point did I feel like, I mean, if you don't stand directly behind somebody if you don't have good faith in their grip. But other than that, we just kind of sat around and I think a couple people had beers and we had popcorn or whatever, but it wasn't bad. I mean, I remember thinking the goofiest thing at the time was it was right at the beginning it was in the middle of the pandemic when wood prices were up. I'm like, we're just throwing axes at plywood for fun. This is the most excessive thing I've ever done in my life.
And it splinters like crazy.
You're just chopping up plywood and 2x4s for no other reason than to have fun.
Just for pure entertainment.
But it was fun.
Do you want to go back though?
I would go back with my wife. My wife wasn't with me. I think she'd find it kind of funny because I think the big thing is a lot of people, you probably just want to go once or twice because you don't think you can do it. And then you get kind of a lesson in how to do it. And you're like, oh, this isn't as hard as I thought it was. Knives are hard.
I'll say not.
The knives are
difficult.
But knives are even easier to do at your house. I bought my nephew Cole, knives one time for Christmas.
I'd rather just go play cornhole at the campground.
I also don't do that. Like I would just sit and be like, I'm not fucking doing that.
The only place I've ever heard of where I heard
Fowling's
of it,
very
they
much
called
like
it
cornhole.
foaling, not fouling.
Or
But
maybe it's foaling.
that
makes way more sense actually.
there's been a portable
foaling. Everyone else calls it
foaling. Yeah,
fouling.
I will say the social media guy that's in charge of the fouling warehouse is Tony Donahue, and he calls it fouling. So I will defer to him.
Okay. Well, it's spelled. There's a bus that they bring out, a portable foaling alley at the Coke lot at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway every year, and they have been for at least a decade that I've been seeing it.
Word is it was invented there.
I wouldn't doubt it because as long as I've known of the Coke lot, there's been there, and it literally is a bus, and they have FOWLING on top of the bus and letters that they've gotten off a marquee somewhere. I've never done it, but I know it's been over there. But that does sound like something you could do in your backyard, especially if you have kids and you can trick the kids into setting the pins up.
Yeah. Again, in the winter, obviously you can do it. Just so my thing is like these things come along, right? They're like flashes in the pan or whatever, but like axe throwing was one. I just feel like they're behind they're way behind.
How would you feel about curling?
If there was a place to go curling, that'd be badass. I can't it requires a massive infrastructure. You can't just go curl in your backyard. Some people can if they have ice, but I don't have ice.
If you have a pond.
Yeah, but you have to have ice, not just a pond.
I wonder if there's a way to do it with synthetic curling.
Magnets.
Like on wood, or something like where you can.
I don't know, but you still have to
I think that's shuffleboard.
There's still infrastructure.
Yeah, but at that point, but there's still like the technique, right? Like the skill and I think in not shuffleboard. What was it called?
Curling.
Thank you. Is the heating and like blowing of the ice and trying to get the thing to do its thing. Like that's a separate problem. And it requires a lot of McDonald's, I've heard. So
I mean, the Olympic team looked like the most ordinary group of guys ever.
Yeah, well,
we're a month away from the Winter Olympics again.
Yeah.
So it's almost curling season. We're all going to care again in a minute.
But I was saying I think they're
Cutting edge
sponsored
shit
by
here.
McDonald's, and I think like they were like eating McDonald's sandwiches in one of the events probably 2 winters ago.
I'd like to
Winter
try
Olympics,
curling.
so.
I think it looks fun.
Again, that would be fun. I wouldn't probably do it many more times, but it would be.
How long do you think it would take you to be a gold level medal curling expert?
At least
Jesse.
15 years.
Dakota, do you think you could work it out in like 6 months? Top
way.
as good as it gets?
You can't do anything. You can't master anything in 6 months.
Feeding geese, you can.
Yeah. Not
There's another podcast
Tim
producer
Jones
that
is
thinks
in
that 6
charge
months
or
he could
whatever
have
his
it
name
down.
Just wanted to check. That was just for them. I'm going to send that to him and just let him know.
But
that, he's on an island.
Yeah.
The other thing was, what are they called?
There's some guy named Tim Jones out there that's like, what the hell?
I didn't say anything about feeding no ghosts or feeding no geese. I got all confused. But anyway, so the last thing I was going to say that's similar to this is escape rooms. Like they're the same thing. Like they come and they go, and they're kind of like they'll stay around for like team building stuff, like corporations. But I think like the nightlife entertainment of them like quickly fade away.
I've never done an escape room either.
Those are fun, but
I don't get out much.
But they're actually very frustrating.
Dakota does a podcast. That's as hipster as he gets.
Yeah, I mean, escape room. We should do an escape room sometime.
Okay.
You'll get very mad at me, and I'll get very mad at you.
I can't wait to get yelled at by Jesse.
I feel like
with
you and I
real
are
high
gonna-
stakes.
I have zero interest in an escape room. Like, hey, let's all go get locked in a room and get pissed off at each other. That's what it sounds like.
I don't think I would want to do it with Jeremiah.
Here's the
Fuck
thing.
you, Dakota. I've been over here quiet.
You can do your own, like, go on your own things. Actually, when we went with Francis guessed the password, like, through brute force. So we skipped, like, way, way, way ahead in where we were supposed to be in the timeline of unlocking things. So we were like completely confused as to where we were. And they're like, yeah, no one's really done that.
What was the password?
Like blood or something. It was.
She just picked something and got in.
Yeah. And it just opened up and and so they're like, yeah, that really screwed you guys.
Francis broke the escape room.
Yeah. But, I'm pretty sure it was like blood or something. She's like, yeah, but they're fun to do with smart people, but you can't have too many smart people.
And Jesse, you're the smartest guy in the room every time. So I don't know.
I'm actually, most of the time I just sit and watch because otherwise I'm like, look, if we're not going to do it my way, I'm just going to watch.
Those did pop up everywhere. Like you go to Gatlinburg, they were there. The beach I go to in the summer, there was one there.
There's one in downtown Muncie. We could make a whole day of it. We could go to escape room, bar.
Yeah, see them before they leave.
And then axe
there's like 2 or 3 or 4 in Indianapolis, but
and then go back to the Airbnb inside the jail.
In 2020, Bob Vollmer retired as Indiana's oldest state worker. He's died at the age of 104. He was 102 years old. He was Indiana's surveyor for the DNR. He worked for the state for 56 years, got the Sagamore of the Wabash, and he's gone.
Way to bring it down, Jeremiah.
Bye, Bob.
He's with Betty White and the guy from Full House now.
Bob Saget.
Not Dave Coulier.
No, Bob
Saget. The Bobs are together. Last week I was naming the people that everybody loved and appreciated, and they were universally
Bob
liked.
Saget off that list,
and I didn't put Bob Saget on there
because that would have been horrible to have named him and be like, oh, because he didn't seem young enough or old enough to be
65
worried about. Yeah, but he doesn't. You look at him. He didn't, like when I've seen interviews with him, he didn't act. 65 is not that old.
See, Jeremiah and me are the same. I'm like 65 is.
Hey, I mean, you can buy green bananas if you want to, but
yeah. 65 is where I'm like,
nobody promises you anything.
Yeah, 65. I say this, and obviously, like my friend Hannah gets very upset. She's like, it's not that old. I'm like, look, I'm not going to buy their insurance plans. Look, I'm not going to insure them.
Look, at 65, I hope you've got a lot of tread on the tires and you make it Bob Vollmer age. But it's also not like, oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess some heart attacks and strokes happen.
Yeah,
Bob Vollmer made it like almost 40 years after that,
which is wild. And that's crazy. At 60, he's like, I've had enough of this shit, and then 40 more years. Because he's at 60.
And then God was like, no, you haven't.
Everybody at 60 is like, I'm fucking over it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right?
And he's 40 more years.
Here's the thing to ponder, Jesse. At 63, you're like, I'm retiring. Well, and then you're dead at 65.
I know, but that's how everyone
Bob
else
Vollmer retires at 102, and then 2 years later, quit working, he's dead.
That's what happens when you don't have any hobbies outside of work. Nothing to keep
I don't
you going.
know at that point if you had a hobby would get you outside. But
it said he worked for the state for 56 years. So he
started when he was 50.
He was in his 50s.
You'd work another 30 years, Dakota, at your job and then start that career.
That's what I'm saying. He was 104 years old. So when he got his first job, it was probably a 30 and out deal.
Making buggy whips for
doing whatever
for Ford Motor
and
Company.
He retired in his 50s because he had worked at the first place for 30 years. He's like, I've always loved the outdoors. I guess I'll get a job for the DNR. And then he lived forever.
Zach, how would you like to work for the DNR for 50 years, just parking campers?
That'd be a good retirement gig. I mean, like, I bet that last 50 years was pretty fun. Yeah, he was playing outside.
Yeah, he was just
kind of by himself, just doing.
I bet he was making about $65 a day, maybe.
And then
$11,000 a year.
Like COVID hit, and he was like, "I should get out of here." Like,
it's public information.
Risky.
It's true.
Does it say how he died?
He was 100.
Skydiving accident.
I like how Bob
broke his toe.
Bob Saget,
axe throwing.
Bob Saget's like, oh, he was 65 years old. Bob's 104. Like, how did he die? I don't know.
65, we just start going old age. Well, that's old age.
The scam now is, hey, they had their booster shot 3 days before that. Dead.
Yeah.
Dead. Killed him.
Bob Saget talked about getting in his ass as a joke. And everyone's like, see, he got it and died. You're like, did he get it? Like, that's the other thing.
And then what I saw was like a fact check saying that he'd actually got it in late November.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is like he died of a heart attack, and they are always pointing at heart problems. So like starting that up.
Mm-hmm.
With the next
and they
alphabet.
also said that he had COVID over the holidays.
Holy crap. Bob Vollmer didn't make.
How much did he make? I mean, I'm sure after 50 some years of cost of living expenses, it really added up.
In 2019, he made $72,000.
Nice. Good for him, man. He deserved it.
This is okay. So you talked about he probably got a 30 and out job. So he started working for the state at his second job in 1964. JFK's body was still warm when this guy started his second career.
That's insane.
Yeah. That's wild.
He must have made. Okay. In 2020, he retired and made $23,000. So we got to go back the other way. I'm like, did he get a giant payout? Now I don't know. I want this guy's job.
Go to 2017.
I'm going to 2018 here. We're efforting, and then we'll move on. We're going to move on. I thought it was going to be like, yeah, he made $12,000.
And chances are now you could be doing part of that job probably with a really awesome drone. Will be part of that surveying.
Yeah, he made $72,000 in 2018. Nice. There you go, kids. Don't go into teaching. Go be a surveyor for the state of Indiana, and you make twice
then after
that.
50 years, you can make $70,000.
And you'll live forever.
Yeah.
They also promised that.
Lots of vitamin D, spend time out.
They probably were like, look, we have to keep this guy alive because we're going to have to start paying people $90,000.
Can you imagine the bank if he retired and collected a pension from the first job?
Oh, no.
And Social Security and $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
He could have started collecting Social Security.
And he paid his house off in 1949.
Yeah.
and he paid $2,600 for it.
He actually built another one straight out of gold bars. He's like, why not?
He's still driving his Model T.
Yeah. Cranks it up.
I'm going to be honest. I just want to be like Bob Vollmer. That is incredible. Congratulations to him. 104 years old. All right. I have a full list of final thoughts. So I'm going to start first because I've got just a firing squad full of stuff I want to get off my chest here.
And you don't want us to comment.
I'm just going to go pee.
And you can Dakota says I thought you had a pee bottle. All right. Week 4 of the Let's Go Brandon updates.
Okay, yeah, I'm really going pee.
What was the thing? I was looking at my phone. I'm a terrible person.
Brandon Brown.
Okay.
The guy who won Talladega.
Oh, okay.
We've talked about this 1,000 times. And then he said, this has ruined my career. And then he said, wait a minute. Actually, it saved my career because now I have this crypto sponsor. And then last week, the crypto sponsor of Let's Go Brandon coin that was like a Dogecoin knockoff. NASCAR said it's too political. The hell with you. Get out of here. Now he says the whole goal. This is a statement he released about an hour and a half ago. For me, the big goal and still is to change the narrative of what LGB, Let's Go Brandon, means. I would like it to be a constructive voice for those like myself who land somewhere in the middle and have views that align with both sides. I want it to become something positive and constructive, not divisive. Zach, what's that sound like to you?
It sounds like things still aren't working out for him with being identified with that phrase, and he's backpedaling more. He's angered everybody now, and he's trying to unanger people, and it's just not working. And his money probably dried up. So, although I heard he's got a personal, they kind of shifted things to a personal services sponsorship.
They're still going to theoretically have the coin because they announced it, and they're going to put the red, white, and blue on the car, but it's not going to be allowed to be on the car for NASCAR races. So they're just going to go like tobacco money and fake it. It's going to look like the Marlboro colors back in the day where you couldn't have cigarettes there, but the cigarette company could maybe stand outside the track and pass out their free stuff and have cars painted up that look a lot like what's on the racetrack, but not really be the real thing.
He's going to have a QR code on the hood.
Might as well.
To all of my supporters, past and present, I would like to apologize and accept responsibility for the way that this off-season's transition has been handled.
I don't think his mom's going to read that press release, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
My hometown, my original hometown, Messina, New York, has an Olympian. Jonny Gustafson is going to be competing in the Winter Olympics. He's a single luge guy, 24 years old. And I don't know if you guys know my guy. I think you personally all know Newcastle band legend Michael Jurgen.
No.
Many of you know Michael Jurgen. He is a dead ringer for Michael Jurgen. It's going to look like Michael's at Olympian. I found this guy's Instagram today. I followed him. Zach's gonna scroll down and go, yep.
Oh yeah, I saw him.
Exactly.
I was kind of amazed that he has that big of a beard in a sport in which aerodynamics would somewhat come into play.
Yeah, he has a helmet on though.
Yeah, but not full. I don't think they wear a full face. I think it's like a 3/4.
I thought they have like a motorcycle helmet.
It's a huge beard though. It's a pretty big beard. Yeah, he's not the craziest of guys, but those guys are crazy. They go down foot first, I think, and then the Skulls guys go down head first.
Yeah, luges.
I just watched Cool Running, so I'm pretty up to date on my.
The skeleton people are on their belly. They're the truly crazy people.
Yeah.
The luge people are on their back, and then the bobsled.
I think going down head first makes way more sense
until you crash.
Perhaps.
And then the bobsled people have a fighting chance because they're in a chassis.
There's bobsled. Luge is what?
Luge is a sled with no sides. You're just on it.
They're like right down.
Sometimes
it's like a radio flyer sled.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah,
and you're like
tobogganing.
Yeah, but you're ass down.
Right.
And then if you're on skeleton, you're head first.
They look like
I believe there was a guy on skeleton that died in Sochi. Maybe I'm on Burgundy, or maybe it was Italy. Where in practice, basically,
I remember
he hit a
the video. Yeah,
bad.
but that was a design problem of the course.
Well, it's the danger.
It's still insane because they show a picture and those guys' helmet, like the chin of their helmet will be like less than an inch off of the ice, and they're going like 70.
I know, but like there's the guys that race the motorcycles that put their legs out on the ground. You know, and you're like, if you just turn the wrong way, that leg's gone, buddy, just gone. Everybody's crazy. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't do it.
They're all crazy.
Like there's people.
Yeah, but imagine how fast
the
you'd
Winter
be in
Olympics
bobsled.
are the
if you
craziest.
could get into the sled. Oh,
I'm not getting in a bobsled.
I'm so ready to hear Lee Diffie talk about Jonny Gustafson. It is going to be my winter will be made.
I just watched the documentary that is Cool Runnings again, and that's the craziest part is watching four guys get into a sled while running, and it's like going down the ice. I'm like, the logistics of that are a nightmare to me. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the Olympics because I can't do half that stuff. Even curling looks hard. Like it looks technically hard, and then once I got down low to the ground, I wouldn't be able to get back up.
I'd be worn out. Like I'd be like, I feel like I washed dishes for like way too long.
I can't wait for Jesse to be watching. Jesse won't be the guy, but Dakota will be looking at it from his couch going, God, that guy really screwed that up. All he had to do is just keep his shoulder up in that one corner, and he would have picked up 2/10 and won the gold. What a failure that guy is.
Yeah, I don't watch it, but I had Nagano Olympics 98 for 64.
What was your favorite sport? Ice skating?
No, bobsleds.
Was it bobsled?
Yeah.
2-man or 4-man?
I think it was 2.
The Americans had a good sled that year. The Bodine sled was excellent.
Yeah. I just remember playing it, and that was a really terrible game, but I played we paid like $70 for it at KB Toys here in Newcastle.
$70?
It was a very expensive game. It was a terrible game.
God, you grew up so wealthy.
Hey, the Olympic Committee sucks up a lot of money They're a Hoover vacuum of
and like none
money.
of the athletes get it.
No, it's a horribly corrupt organization that loves to get paid.
I won gold. Time to go back to.
You mean when all the countries get involved to be like, look at our elite performers? That isn't a corrupt system. That's wild. It's wild to me.
And they're all on.
We're going to put you on Olympics duty for the campaign for the Boss Hog crowd in February. You're going to be responsible for the Olympics. Do you know that the president has moved his State of the Union to not conflict with the Olympics?
Why?
Because he wants the ratings. He knows everybody's going to watch the Olympics.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You got any final thoughts for me?
Well, you said you had a list. You've only talked about 2.
The third thing is
Let's hear it.
Did you watch the movie Don't Go Up? Don't Look Up?
I did.
Did you like it?
It was all right.
You didn't hate it?
No, it's a really.
It's an Adam McKay movie. It's on Netflix.
Is it?
It's Adam McKay.
Oh, that's right.
It's got Leo.
It felt, and Leonardo DiCaprio is just an awesome actor. But the acting in the movie is really good. The story is pretty good. It feels like a.
Spangle hated it. This is why I'm bringing it up now. Dear leader of the We Are Libertarians podcast network, absolutely hated it.
Because it placates to one side. It placates way to one side, right?
I felt like it was pretty balanced in the beginning and the middle, and then at the end it became very.
It's pretty freaking
preachy.
Obvious that the world is
Then
burning.
it becomes preachy.
It's got the most hilarious ending I've ever seen. But I think that the ending is either the funniest thing you've ever seen or it's appalling based on your thoughts probably going into the movie about
the food chain.
No, well, because the movie, I guess, what's hilarious is the movie evidently is about climate change.
Yeah,
and it's there.
Sarah watched it and goes,
Why is
"This
it
was about
climate
COVID."
change?
And so I watched it too, and my first thought was, "This is about COVID," and then you just realize that no, this is about so many things in our society.
This is about everything
because it was being written and done before COVID was even a thing.
It was being filmed during COVID.
Yeah.
It was about, to me, it was a really, really planned take on Idiocracy.
Yeah,
it was a
remake of Idiocracy.
But why it's not nearly as good as Idiocracy, because Mike Judge did not go sit out to write a mockumentary of sorts. That was not his, it was, but it wasn't. He's I didn't actually think this would be real. Again, he pushed the pedal on society. And it's if things got really crazy, what would it look like?
And Mike Judge is just better.
500 years in the future,
anyway.
and then 20 years later, it's yep, this is it.
And his jokes are funnier. And to me, Don't Look Up is highbrow liberal comedy. And that's what it is. It's, we're smarter than you. Ha ha ha. And that's it. And they want to make fun of everyone. And the whole time though, it's, to me, it just, I'm with you. It's about everything, everything that's going on. It's a very deep movie. What didn't Spangle like?
I don't think he liked the plot. I think he thought it was cheap. Yeah. It was poorly written, poorly acted, blah, 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 blah. A lot of plot holes.
I think that part of the point of the plot is to be kind of absurd for the sake of absurdity.
What's absurd about it?
I mean, well,
that's what I like. To me, this is actually a real problem. We don't know what we're going to do in asteroid hits. We have no fucking idea. But if you pay attention to this, what they do in the movies,
this is a PSA.
Okay, so spoiler alert: if you haven't seen it, don't listen to the next
earmuffs.
Couple of But do you think that in the case that we would allow a corporation to say, "Oh yeah, we think we can break it up because we can mine it because it's worth trillions of dollars,"
yes,
at the risk of society and our world being destroyed?
Yes,
it depends on who's president.
I think that's exactly
and how close you are to the midterms.
That could happen.
Yeah,
and I think that just like in the movie, some other countries with the United Nations would try to do their own launch to break it up, and it would just not work.
Failed completely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much of that is just.
I thought that was way too accurate.
You go, yep. Well, that sounds right.
We could have done it.
Yep.
We would have had it. America would have been.
We had the rocket.
Good to go.
The rocket was in the air. Cell phone, and the weird cell phone guy walks in, then walks out, and then they just turn it around.
I think that is probably the most hyperbolic part of the movie. Is if the rocket's in the air and you've had that much of a success, they wouldn't call it back.
I did. There's a line in there about, well, the guy's got classification. He's a premium donor. Yeah. I thought that slayed me.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
That was-
Like, oh yeah, he can be in the room. He gives it an incredible level. Yeah, he belongs here.
Because I mean, like to me, they were just making fun of Bezos and Elon Musk, right? And I think if they didn't, well, the irony here is that SpaceX would be the people launching the rockets to begin with,
right?
Like they're the ones.
They would have been
successful
the ones,
launches.
They would have been the ones
month
at
after
the
month
first
after month.
stage.
Yeah. But it could have been a state sponsored subject. But I'm saying in our world, it would probably automatically be like, all right, we're going to try to see if if there was whatever mineral on it, if we needed it bad enough, they would for sure be like, we're going to try to mine it first. If not, the fail safe.
We would have spent 6 months playing Blue Origin against SpaceX against each other for the government contract.
Yeah. Also that.
And then the other company would have been the company that went and worked for the Indians, and that one failed.
Yeah.
That's the way it would have gone down.
But it would have been Alibaba. Like or whatever. They'd be like, when
you ordered your rockets from Wish.
Yeah. And they just use macro cameras to like do like low, like high pitched view. Like, look at our rockets, and they're really just this big. Yeah. But yeah,
firecrackers on the end.
Well, the best, actually, what might work in real life though is that Russia would do it. Russia would be like, come in hard and be like, yep, we got this.
Russia was the country in the movie that launched it and it blew up.
And it blew up. But I would say in real life,
I think they have a better chance of success in real life than they did in the movie. They just, for the movie, it was, they failed.
It was just, I mean, if you talk a minor plot point.
If you talk to, or if you listen to the most recent Elon Musk interview on Rogan, or was it Rogan? No, it was Lex Friedman. Like he still is like, they built some of the best fucking rockets we've ever seen like humans have ever had. He's like, they're still mind blowingly awesome. But it's a good movie. I just still think if you like that, please go watch Idiocracy and then like come back and tell me what you think, because Idiocracy was not supposed to be like tongue in cheek.
Idiocracy was better, especially given the time that it was written in.
Correct.
Idiocracy was written entirely as satire, and it all became real.
Right, and that's why it's just a beautiful movie now. So, anyway, you should not have skipped that.
So maybe Don't Look Up will also become real.
But it was writing about things that are already real.
Bro, it was writing about All right, Jesse, you got anything? Final thoughts? I was nervous about doing Don't Look Up because it's still so current that I was trying to dance around the plot points, but to do it correctly, you've got to do the spoilers.
Tell people not to listen.
Yeah.
That's
fine.
I don't have anything. I've watched a lot of TV shows. I've watched Dexter. Dexter is now concluded.
What's my brother going to do for a job?
I don't know. What, do you think he looks like him?
Yeah.
Not as an older guy.
Not an older Dexter. Young Dexter, yeah.
I saw a guy actually Fowling that looked like your brother with a mullet. I almost thought it was because then it reminded me that your brother actually kind of looks like that John Von Cletus guy or whatever that's on Netflix. The comedian guy that everyone loves. Vaughn something.
Nate Bargatze? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, there's a guy that
there's only one comedian people like now that Bob's gone.
Jim Gaffigan, who also has a new special on Netflix.
Jim Gaffigan's always got a new special on Netflix.
He's milking that cow, bro.
He was the first one. He was the first comedian on Netflix.
He's got kids to feed.
He broke the ice.
Very Catholic.
But anyway, I don't have, like outside of that, I don't have anything.
What's a polar bear weigh?
This is a joke.
He's such a freaking
I'm
nerd.
waiting on Jesse to tell me who he's talking about.
I know, it's driving me.
Is he funny?
No. Well, people, no. A lot of people think he's funny. I do not.
What's his brand?
He has a podcast though, and he's a white dude with a mullet, and he's like hillbilly sounding. And everyone's yelling at me right now. And I'm like, I don't know what his name is because I don't like him.
Mark Brim. What's a polar bear weigh?
I don't know.
Enough to break the ice. I'm Jeremiah.
Damn,
it's a terrible joke.
Bad.
That's straight out of the greatest car salesman.
Jeremiah, I have nothing. Just wrap us up.
Well, what about him?
We haven't even talked to Zach over there.
We already had Zach. Zach got rudely interrupted. No, he did not.
I don't really have anything. Just L and K. Beehive Body Company. That's all I got.
You guys are so weak.
First world problems. I've had to work like 2 full weeks of work without any holidays or days off, and it's been kind of rough. So I'm
Merry
tired.
Christmas.
Thanks, Jesse. You're so kind to us. I think you get next Monday off, don't you, Zach?
Yes, I have a 3-day weekend. I have 2 3-day weekends coming up. I only work 3 days next week, but I've got to get there first.
You've got to make it there. Well, maybe you can get some quarantine time.
Jesse just threw my cousin's own lip chapstick back at me.
Yeah, Zach only accepts those via USPS.
I used this actually. My lips have been chapped in the last couple of weeks, and it's pretty good.
It's awesome. We appreciate Mary and the Beehive Body Company very much. With that, we will see you people next Wednesday evening. And we have a firm maybe commitment from City Councilman Aaron Dickin. We have to. JD Prescott says we have to give the political labels. Democrat Aaron Dickin. That way you know what to think about him going into it. You can preform your opinions about if he's a good guy or a bad guy because JD wants you to know Aaron Dickin is a Democrat. D for Democrat.
And I know he had a Facebook Live earlier this week, and Aaron said he was saving some content for us.
Oh, well, that's excellent. And I think Dakota's been saving a bottle of bourbon. I have. What is it going to be? Jesus. All right. He's like
Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn. I love Theo.
We'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Theo's stand-up.